Hi boys and girls. So today we are going to learn about inquiry skills. And it says, what are inquiry skills and the scientific method? So your learning objective says we are going to learn about the ways scientists find the answers to their questions about the world. So one way that they do that, first they have to ask questions. So have you ever wondered about flowers? You can ask questions to learn more about flowers. For example, you might ask, how do flowers grow? Does a flower grow better in the dark? Or even, how much water does a flower need to grow? Asking questions like this is the first step to finding out about flowers. Now you try. Think about some questions that you can ask. You have a tree here. What kind of questions could you ask if you wanted to learn more about trees? Pause this video for a second and think to yourself, what questions could I ask? Can you think of any questions? How about, how much space does a tree need to grow? You could ask, how much sun does the tree need? You can even ask, what does the tree need to grow? What about some other questions that maybe you might not be able to check your answer or find out? Maybe they might be a little bit silly. What about, will my friend like this tree? Is that a good scientific question? Do you know if your friend will like this tree? No, that would be a silly question. How about, does the tree feel happy? Are you ever going to be able to find out how that tree feels? Nope, that's not a scientific question either. How about, how tall will the tree be in a year? Can you answer that question now? Probably not. So make sure when you are asking questions or answering questions that your answers make sense, or that your questions make sense too. So besides asking questions, what else do scientists do? Scientists make observations to learn about the world around them. You can use your 5 senses to make those observations. So let's try it. To make an observation, scientists use their sense of sight to look more closely at things. They can also use their sense of taste, smell, touch, and hearing to learn about things and answer their questions. What do you see or notice in this picture? Take a good look at these guys. Okay, so I want you to think about, by using your 5 senses, what did you see or notice? Did you see maybe that the alligator had dry, green skin? I used my sense of sight. If I was listening to an alligator, I would think it would sound kind of scary, and I know they make a croaking sound. I didn't smell anything. That doesn't mean they don't have a smell, but in this observation, I didn't smell anything. When I looked at his skin, the texture looks like it's rough and bumpy. And no, I don't think I'm going to taste anything on that alligator. So we can use our senses to make observations to learn more about different things in our world and help us answer our questions. Scientists also compare. When we compare, we see how something is the same and how things are different. So I want you to look closely at these 2 plants. What do you observe? Remember, what do you see when you look closely? Let's look at them here. What do you observe with this picture when we look more closely? Do you notice that the plant in the pot is small and the one in the ground is big? You can make a comparison based on size. So scientists also make predictions. Predictions are guesses that scientists make based on what they see and what they know. So if we watch this video, you can see.
The scientist is collecting plants. He will measure them to check his prediction. Predicting and measuring are inquiry skills. Scientists use these skills. You can too.
So he's using his observation skills to make a prediction about plants and trees. So the scientists could predict or guess that a bigger plant will have bigger roots. Scientists infer and draw conclusions. Scientists also make their predictions by using their inferencing skills. To make an inference means that you use what you see and what you know to make a guess. So if you look at this picture, your mom makes you wear a coat, a hat, and a scarf before you go outside. What can you infer or guess? Do you think it's a good day for the beach? Or maybe it's pouring rain? Or do you think it's a cold day? What do you think? I would say that my best guess would be that it's a cold day. That's an inference. And I'm drawing my conclusions. I'm coming up with an answer. So because she's wearing a jacket, I infer that it's cold. So scientists also make what we call a hypothesis. When you make a hypothesis, you first have to have a question. So the question would be, maybe, what will happen if you water a plant every day? So that's my question, and I want to figure out what will happen. So I'm going to make a hypothesis. A plant that gets water every day will grow faster than a plant that doesn't get water every day. So a hypothesis is a statement that can be tested. Notice I asked a question. My hypothesis was stating what I think is the right answer. So it's actually a sentence with a period because I'm making a statement. This is my guess. So my hypothesis is what I think the answer to my question will be. And I have to be able to test it out, otherwise I'll never be able to figure out if my answer was correct. So we have to find out, is your hypothesis correct? So to find out if your hypothesis is correct, you have to test it. So to test it, you could water one plant every day, and then the other plant you can water only on Mondays and Thursdays, for example. Because my hypothesis, remember, was that a plant that gets water every day will grow faster than a plant that doesn't get water. So I need to make sure that I do give a plant water every day, and I give another plant less water. And then I'm going to observe by looking, and I'm going to compare. Here's my plant that didn't get water every day. Here's my plant that did get water every day. Which plant grows faster? You can even measure it like the person in our video did to really get those good results. So we draw conclusions. Once you've completed your investigation, you're going to look at the information or the data you recorded. Record means to write down. And then based on what you learned, you can draw a conclusion or get an answer and decide if you proved your hypothesis or if your hypothesis was incorrect. In this case, my hypothesis was correct. The plant that got water every day did grow better and faster than the plant that didn't get water every day. Remember, when you record information, you can write it down or draw pictures. So here's the scientific method. So the first thing you want to do is you want to ask a question. So what happens when I mix red and blue? Here's red and blue. That would be my question. My next step is I form a hypothesis. Remember, a hypothesis is a statement that can be tested. When I mix blue and red, it will make the color green. That is my hypothesis. That's my guess or my prediction. So now I have to plan my investigation. How will I test my hypothesis? I will take red paint and blue paint and mix the colors together. So once I plan my investigation, I need to do it. Here I am mixing my colors. So now I need to draw conclusions. That means I have to look at my information, my data, and see what really happened when I tested my hypothesis. And I can see that when I mixed my red and my blue, what happened? Oh, do you see what color it made? So was my hypothesis correct? Not quite. I see the colors mixed are making a new color, not green, but purple. So I figured out what really happens. Based on what I see, I'm drawing conclusions and getting answers. And then it says record what you have learned. What does it mean to record? Right, to write down or draw a picture. So I wrote down the answer to my question. Blue and red mixed together make purple. So that would be how you would walk through the scientific method. Once you've asked a question, you form your hypothesis, you plan an investigation, you do the investigation, you draw conclusions, and then record what you have learned. Now you've learned how to use the scientific method, just like a scientist does. But wait, don't forget the last number to your secret code. Remember, you're going to write it down in your detective database. And it's the number 9. Good luck! If you need to go back through this video again to learn more about the scientific method, make sure you do that.